Hello and welcome everyone to my channel, the Garden City Project. My name is Greg Holenstein and I'm a landscape architect. In this episode, I want to answer the question, what are the greatest threats for humanity in the future? And of course, there is not a clear answer for that, because no one can say with 100% certainty what are the greatest threats for humanity, because there are so many unforeseeable things that can come in the future. There are many people that might see the coming climate change as the biggest threat for humanity, and in my opinion, this is not exactly the case. I don't see it exactly like this. Don't understand me wrong, like climate change is a big issue in the future and also in the present day. But there are a lot of many different threats. And in my opinion, climate change is not exactly the biggest threat in the future. So the list I'm going to present you now is based on my personal opinion, my knowledge and my estimations. The first one on this list, and in my opinion the biggest threat for humanity, are geopolitical conflicts, so like wars and other smaller conflicts all around the world. There are different wars and different conflicts all around the world happening, and even some bigger wars happening recently all around the world. I will not go into details about these wars and this conflict and all about geopolitical things, because I'm far from an expert in this area and there are probably other channels that are covering this topic. But I can say one thing for sure: if there is a war or a major conflict happening in your countries, it's your biggest problems. Compared to that, all other problems go aside, because that's the major problem that is affecting your life. So also for humanity, I see this as the biggest threat, as the biggest problem coming in the future. Because if a war happens, it has the priority number one to solve this problem, because there is not a bigger problem than this. So that's enough said about the biggest threat. So now we come to the second one. And the second one is environmental challenges. This category includes climate change, but many other environmental challenges that we will be facing in the future. Such problems are like shortage of resources, for example, drinking water, and the loss of biodiversity, and of course many problems that are related or associated with a changing climate. To face all those challenges, we as humanity, we need to adapt to new circumstances. So it's like in the whole history of mankind, we had to adapt to new circumstances, and we have to do it also in the future. Water shortage is mainly a major problem for dry areas, such as the Arabian Peninsula and also the Saharan Desert. And of course, many other dry regions all around the world where many people are living. To solve this problem, we need to invent and to implement new technologies. New technologies to collect rainwater, to make the desalination of salt water better, and also to reuse wastewater so that we can reuse it for other things. That is already happening in many countries. In many dry countries, they are using these technologies, but we can always make existing technologies better, implementing those technologies in different countries all around the world. And of course, also another important thing about this is a well-functioning water infrastructure. Furthermore, we have a constant loss of biodiversity all around the world, and that is mainly the case because we are planting monocultural fields. We are planting like big crop fields with only one kind of crop. And of course, this destroys the biodiversity in a region massive. Because if you look at nature, there are a lot of different species in an area. There are a lot of different plants and animals and stuff like that. And if we just plant one crop in a big field, we destroy a lot of things. And it's obviously why we do that, because it's easier to manage. It's easier to harvest the crops if we have just one crop on a field. We can go there with big machines and it's more efficiently in the first term, but in the second term we are destroying many things. There are different solutions for this problem. Like we can, instead of using just one crop, we can use many different species, and we can also, instead of big monocultural fields, we can have like gardens, smaller and bigger gardens with different kind of crops, with different kind of vegetables and with different kind of other plants, so they can work in harmony together. Because if you look at nature, a lot of plants work in harmony together, even if we don't see it at first sight. But this also brings like difficulties with it. If we have like a garden and a vegetable garden, a big vegetable garden, it's much more work to maintain this one than a crop field. If we have the same size of gardens than crop fields, because it's obviously that we can't do this with big machines and stuff like that. But in the future, we can be innovative and find new ways to make gardening more efficiently, to make gardening better. And so we can profit, we can make the biodiversity better, and we can also make gardening better in the future with new technologies. To face the changing climate, we have to make a lot of adaptations to this changing climate. And there are a lot of different things we can do to adapt to the new climate. I will not go too much into detail about different things we can do, because this would be a topic for a separate video. I can just say so much that it's absolutely necessary that we are able to adapt to a new climate. Because, to be honestly, we don't know what is happening in the future with the climate. There could be also an ice age. This is possible. And yes, I know it's far more possible that we have a warming climate than that we have a cooler climate like an ice age or something like that. But still, we need to think about all the possibilities. And we need to be able to adapt to a climate no matter what happens. Now we are coming to the third threat, and that is technological risks. I will also not go too much in detail about this topic, because as well there are a lot of specialists in this area, but it's obviously that there are many threats arising through new technologies. The invention of the nuclear bomb brought us a big new threat to humanity. And at this time it was invented, this was by far the biggest threat for humanity, and it's still one of the biggest threats. But with the upcoming of AI, artificial intelligence, we have also another threat that is coming up. And according to people like Elon Musk, AI is even more dangerous than the nuclear bomb. Well, I can say for sure if this is the case, but we can say that new inventions bring also new threats to humanity, and we shouldn't underestimate those threats. The fourth one is demographic challenges. The total population of the Earth is rising, but there is a huge difference between different countries. On one hand, we have Western countries and also countries like China, South Korea and Japan with a declining population and a strongly aging population. On the other hand, we have countries in the third world, especially in Africa, with a strongly rising population, a strongly growing population. And that is, of course, because of their much higher birth rate than in the Western countries. Both conditions bring each challenges with it. In the Western world, we have a declining and aging population. That's because we have a very low birth rate, and so we will have much more problems with health in the future, because older people have more problems with health than younger people. That's absolutely obviously. And we will also have a challenge with labor shortage, and we also will have like social problems, because there are few people coming new that have to pay for the older people, because we have a rent system, and so the younger people, they have to work to pay for the rent of the old people. And because there are fewer younger people, this will bring like big problems to our society. On the other side of the spectrum, we have countries like India, Indonesia, Nigeria, and many other countries in Africa and all around the globe, which have a very high population growth. And this brings us to other problems in these countries. Like, these countries have such a strong growth that some cities are growing extremely rapidly, and those cities are like growing much faster than anyone can think of. And so like they are overcrowded, and they have a big traffic problems and all stuff like that, and they have a lot of challenges to face in those cities. And of course, they also have a big problem with poverty, because there's a big inequality, and the economic and the middle class is not growing as quickly as the population does in those countries. And so those countries have to face many challenges in the future with their growing population, but there are a lot of solutions for this problem. And there is also a big potential for those countries with this very strong population growth, because they have a lot of young workforce that they can use. So this is something that like Western countries are lacking. So these countries have a huge advantage in this field. In my opinion, education is the most important tool for those countries, because if they achieve to educate their young population, and so they can make better jobs, they can make better wages, and the economy can grow much bigger, like the middle class can grow much bigger, they can solve a lot of problems. But that's not always as easy as it seems, of course, and there are a lot of challenges to face, especially for these countries, but they have a huge potential for the future, that is for sure. So these are the 4 major threats, in my opinion, for the future of humanity. And of course, there are much more different threats, but I was just mentioning the ones that I thought are the most important ones. But nobody can predict the future, and so we will see where we are heading as humanity. Maybe we will face things in the future that nowadays nobody can think of. So this was the end of my video. I hope you liked it. I hope you can enjoy it. If you liked it, just press the like button, leave me a comment here, and see you next time. Bye!